When you picture your life changing, you might imagine a single dramatic moment, a speech, a door slam, a sudden realization that rearranges everything. Sometimes that happens, but often the moment the pattern truly breaks is smaller, almost ordinary. Welcome back to the Infinite Return. This episode is called The Moment the Pattern Actually Breaks. It's about how real change often arrives quietly in choices no one else notices, and how to recognize those moments so you don't miss the fact that you're already different. Many of us carry an invisible movie of how transformation should look: the big confrontation, the tearful goodbye, the clean break. We wait for a scene dramatic enough to prove to ourselves, now I've changed. Meanwhile, real turning points slip by unnoticed. The night you don't send the message, the argument you step out of sooner, the apology you offer without collapsing into shame, the task you don't take on because you're exhausted, even though you could. No fireworks, just a small flicker in a familiar room. If you only honor the fireworks, you might miss the quieter proof that your story is already bending. Imagine someone named Divya Jyoti. For years, whenever he felt lonely or insecure, he reached for the same pattern: texting a person who gave him just enough attention to feel wanted, but never enough to feel secure. He knew it wasn't good for him. He knew the script: late night intensity, daytime distance, self blame, exhaustion. One evening after a difficult day, the loneliness hits hard. His hand reaches for his phone almost by muscle memory. He opens the old chat, types out a message: "Hey, you up?" His thumb hovers over send. This is the old circle waiting to close. He feels the ache, the pull, the familiar promise of temporary relief. And then, for some reason, he pauses. He reads the message, sees not just the words, but the whole pattern behind them. Slowly, he deletes the text, locks the phone, and places it face down. He feels restless, unsatisfied, still lonely. No one claps. Nothing dramatic happens. He just goes to bed. From the outside, it looks like nothing. Inside, that quiet decision is the moment the pattern actually breaks. Not every interruption is a true break. Sometimes we pause, then later return to the same cycle in a new form. So, what makes a moment a genuine turning point? Often it has three qualities. One, awareness. You see the pattern as a pattern, not just as this is how things are. Two, choice. In the key moment, you notice a sliver of space where you could do the old thing or try something else. Three, consistency. Even small, you repeat the new choice enough times that it becomes more than a one-off event. Divya Jyoti's unsent message matters not only because he didn't send it once, but because he knew what it meant and can remember it later as evidence. There was a night I did not go back. A pattern doesn't shatter in an instant. It fractures along a line you keep drawing, one small decision at a time. You may already have moments like this in your history, choices you made that didn't look like much, but quietly redirected you. Perhaps it was the first time you told someone, "I'm not okay," and actually let them see you. The day you didn't respond to a comment that once would have started a fight. The moment you asked for clarification instead of assuming the worst. The night you went to sleep instead of staying up to win an argument online. At the time, you might have dismissed it, but these are the threads that quietly reweave your life. Recognizing them isn't about ego. It's about giving your nervous system a record of, "I can do this differently. I already have." You might realize that the moment the pattern broke was not a single explosion, but a series of tiny, almost invisible choices that you're already making. Thank you for listening to The Moment the Pattern Actually Breaks, Episode 9, The Infinite Return. It's tempting to wait for a grand transformation scene to prove to yourself that you are new, but most of the time, change arrives in quieter clothes, in pauses, in unsent messages, in small agreements with yourself that no one else hears. You may not get a soundtrack or an audience, but you do get these small moments of choosing, and that is where the pattern actually shifts. In our next episode, we'll explore living with cycles and not cures, how to relate to your recurring patterns as long-term companions rather than enemies to destroy, and how that mindset can make change gentler and more sustainable. Until then, maybe ask yourself once or twice, what if my turning point has already happened and I just haven't honored it yet?